Summary of Albert Einstein's life and career, the genius who changed our view of the universe. Chapter 1, Childhood in the Shadows, 1879 to 1894. Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879, in Ulm, Kingdom of Württemberg, German Empire, into a middle-class Jewish family. His father, Hermann Einstein, was an ambitious engineer who, along with his uncle Jacob, established an electrical equipment workshop in Munich in 1880, where the family moved shortly after Albert's birth. His mother, Pauline Koch, brought music into his childhood through her piano melodies, creating a warm yet challenging backdrop. Young Albert grew up in a world that was both serene and full of obstacles, like a protagonist in a novel awaiting his destiny. Einstein's childhood was a canvas of contrasts, where the seeds of genius began to sprout. He was suspected of being a late talker, only speaking clearly at age 3, causing his family concern, a detail that later became a legend of hidden brilliance. The boy soon displayed an unusual curiosity. A compass given by his father at age 5 sparked his first questions about the universe. His uncle Jacob inspired him through engaging algebra lessons. Einstein taught himself calculus and read Kant's Critique of Pure Reason, shaping an independent mindset that refused to conform to rigid norms. In 1894, the family business went bankrupt, forcing them to move to Italy, leaving Einstein in Munich to continue his studies. At 15, he grew frustrated with Germany's rigid education system, yearning for freedom and exploration. This childhood shaped his character and planted the seeds for his future monumental contributions. His curiosity and independent thinking began to flourish, like a protagonist seeking light amidst adversity, preparing for the extraordinary journey ahead, as if a book were opening its first promising pages. Chapter 2, Family and the Challenging School Years, 1895 to 1900. In 1895, Einstein, a confident 16-year-old, attempted the entrance exam for the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, ETH Zurich. He failed due to weaknesses in subjects beyond math and physics, a setback that highlighted his uniqueness. Undeterred, he moved to Aarau, Switzerland, completing high school with excellent grades. This period marked the beginning of his academic foundation, preparing him for a scientific career. Einstein renounced his German citizenship to avoid military service, showcasing his strong independent spirit. His childhood came to an end, giving way to turbulent years of young adulthood. His family in Italy struggled with financial difficulties, while Einstein, living far from his parents, faced the world alone, learning to be self-reliant amidst early challenges. In 1896, he enrolled at ETH Zurich, where he met Mileva Maric, a talented physics student who would later become his first wife. His family disapproved of the relationship because Mileva was Serbian and older than him, but she was a rare light in his rigorous academic life. This relationship laid the groundwork for future complexities in Einstein's family life. This chapter is a journey of transition filled with challenges. In 1900, Einstein graduated but couldn't find a job, relying on tutoring to survive. Like a protagonist at a crossroads, he nurtured grand ideas amidst adversity, ready for the pivotal turning point in the next chapter. Chapter 3, A New Family and the Miracle Year, 1901 to 1905. In 1901, Einstein gained Swiss citizenship and secured a job at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern, marking a stable start to his career. From an unknown clerk, he turned mundane work hours into opportunities to ponder the universe. The job provided income, serving as a springboard for his intellect, like an artist finding inspiration in simplicity. His family entered a new phase, but not without tragedy. In 1902, he married Mileva Maric despite his family's objections. They welcomed a daughter, Liesel, whose fate remains a mystery. She may have died of scarlet fever in 1903 or been given up for adoption, leaving a deep scar on Einstein and Mileva. They had 2 sons, Hans Albert, 1904, and Eduard, 1910, but Mileva may have contributed to Einstein's work, and financial pressures dimmed their family happiness. In 1905, the Annus Mirabilis, Einstein published 4 papers that shook the foundations of physics. The photoelectric effect paved the way for quantum mechanics, Brownian motion confirmed the existence of atoms, special relativity redefined time, and E equals mc squared ushered in the era of nuclear energy. These discoveries propelled him from obscurity to prominence, forever changing the world, like a protagonist stepping onto the global stage, laying the groundwork for modern physics and setting the stage for family turmoil in the next chapter. Chapter 4, A Soaring Career and a Fractured Family, 1906 to 1914. After the miracle year, Einstein's career soared, elevating him to the ranks of leading scientists. In 1908, he became a lecturer at the University of Bern, then in 1911 a professor at the University of Zurich, later moving to the University of Karl Ferdinand in Prague. In 1914, he was invited to Berlin, serving as a professor at the University of Humboldt and director of the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Physics. This period saw him complete general relativity, published in 1915, explaining gravity as the curvature of spacetime, predicting phenomena like black holes and gravitational waves. Einstein also played a role in quantum mechanics through the photoelectric effect but disagreed with its randomness, famously saying, "God does not play dice." General relativity was a monumental contribution, offering a new view of the universe, yet his family life plunged into crisis. His marriage to Mileva Merrick crumbled due to distance, disagreements, and career pressures. He began a relationship with Elsa Lowenthal, leading to a divorce in 1919, after which he married Elsa. Hans Albert and Eduard lived with their mother in Zurich, deepening the family rift. Eduard later developed schizophrenia, leaving Einstein tormented by his inability to be there for his son. This chapter contrasts triumph and loss, a soaring career but a broken family, shaping Einstein not just as a scientist but as a man of contradictions. Chapter 5, Global Fame and Recognition, 1919 to 1921. On May 29, 1919, a total solar eclipse confirmed general relativity as Arthur Eddington observed starlight bending around the sun. Einstein's career peaked, transforming him from an obscure scientist into a global icon. The press hailed him as the brightest star of science, making him an inspiration to people worldwide, marking a turning point in scientific history. In 1921, Einstein received the Nobel Prize in Physics for the photoelectric effect, a controversial choice since relativity was not yet fully accepted. He also received the Matteucci Medal, the first of many honors, including the Copley Medal, 1925, and the Max Planck Medal, 1929. The photoelectric effect laid the foundation for modern technologies like solar cells, contributing a new energy source to humanity, while relativity opened doors to cosmic exploration. His family life stabilized with Elsa, who cared for him and her two daughters from a previous marriage, but his relationship with Hans Albert and Eduard remained distant. Eduard, showing early signs of schizophrenia, was a growing concern, yet Einstein couldn't be there for him, leaving a void in his heart. This chapter marks the pinnacle of glory. Einstein, like a protagonist reaching the summit, not only transformed science but became a cultural icon, yet he braced for greater challenges as the world entered a turbulent era. Chapter 6, Exile and Social Responsibility, 1933 to 1940. In 1933, as the Nazis rose to power, Einstein left Germany, renouncing his citizenship for the second time due to his Jewish heritage. He settled in the U.S., working at the Institute for Advanced Study, IAS, in Princeton, New Jersey, continuing his career. Exile turned him into a voice for peace and human rights. He supported the U.S. civil rights movement, opposed racism, and became a peace activist, despite being monitored by the FBI for suspected leftist views. In 1939, he signed a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, warning of Germany's potential atomic bomb. Drafted by Leo Szilard and Edward Teller, the letter leveraged Einstein's fame, contributing to the Manhattan Project, though he later regretted its wartime consequences. In 1940, he became a U.S. citizen, retaining Swiss citizenship, becoming a citizen of two worlds. His family now consisted of Elsa and close relatives in the U.S., while Hans Albert and Eduard remained in Europe with their mother. Eduard, suffering from schizophrenia, was a profound source of pain, but Einstein couldn't be there for him. In 1952, he was offered the presidency of Israel but declined, focusing on his peace ideals. This chapter is a turning point of responsibility. Einstein not only contributed to science but also fought against fascism and war, leaving a deep humanitarian legacy, like a protagonist facing his destiny, preparing for the final chapter. Chapter 7, Twilight and an Eternal Legacy, 1941 to 1955. In his final years, Einstein sought a unified field theory to merge relativity and quantum mechanics, but he did not succeed. He lived reclusively in Princeton, shunning the spotlight, dedicating his time to writing and opposing nuclear war, continuing his role as a peace activist. His career, though no longer yielding new discoveries, remained a beacon for future generations, like a lighthouse in a grand novel. His family was reduced to memories of Elsa, who died in 1936, with Hans Albert in the US and Eduard in Switzerland, where Eduard, afflicted with schizophrenia, lived in a psychiatric institute. Einstein was haunted by his inability to be there for Eduard, a pain that lingered until his end. He passed away on April 18, 1955, in Princeton from an abdominal aortic aneurysm, concluding an extraordinary journey at 76. After his death, his brain was removed by Dr. Thomas Harvey for study without family consent, sparking significant controversy. His legacy endures: the photoelectric effect, solar energy, relativity, GPS, cosmology, and nuclear energy equation are monumental contributions. He was named Time magazine's Person of the Century, 1999, alongside earlier awards, affirming his timeless impact. This final chapter is a tribute to an exceptional life. Einstein was not just a scientist but a symbol of intellect and humanity, leaving a story that resonates through human history, like a book closing with pages brimming with meaning.